Hello Slaymates, and welcome back to the channel. For those of you that are new here, I'm Kimmy. Since yesterday's story was about brides, I've got one about babies and baby showers today. So let's go ahead and grab our libation of choice. And let's go ahead and address the mess. Today's story is called, Am I the A-hole for walking out of the baby shower my in-laws threw for me? Not ever having married myself, I don't have any personal experience in the whole terrible in-law thing, but I've heard that it can be quite challenging, and let's see if the OP is justified. This situation is kind of a mess. We wouldn't be here otherwise. I, 27F, am expecting my first baby with my husband. This is the first grandchild in the family, the in-laws, and they said that if the baby's a boy, then we'll give him my father-in-law's name. He died of cancer. I had no problem with that. This happened before we found out the gender of the baby. My husband and his family had me do things like attend prayers and do other rituals before the reveal at the doctor's. I didn't like that, but I went with it to keep the peace. I'm almost curious as to what those rituals and whatnot entailed, but it's hard when people feel like that they have to scooch their boundaries away or their sense of comfort in order just to not be in a fight. Doctor appointment came and it turned out to be a girl. My husband cried in the car, then turned his phone off to hide from his family, then finally told them. His mom and the others made their frustration and disappointment clear, which bothered me because my daughter deserves to be celebrated. She absolutely does. And it's frustration and disappointment over something that they can't change or do anything about. And if they should be frustrated and disappointed with anyone, it should be with OP's husband, because gender comes from the barrel, not the target, I guess we can say. They ghosted me for days, then started coming over and visiting constantly, referring to my daughter as my son, claiming the results were false, and basically pretending it was a boy. That's disturbing and completely unhinged. I do know of a case with a childhood friend growing up where it was actually the opposite direction. They thought she was a boy until she was born, and they kind of called her Junior as a joke. But I mean, this was 40 years ago, and I think that there's a lot less room for doubt with today's ultrasound technology. So this is just weird and delusional. I had several fights with them after they refused to stop it, and my husband sided with them despite seeing how wrong and unreasonable what they were doing was. We didn't speak for a while. So we got a hubby that's, well, I mean, I'm sure not just his mother, but I'm sure that's a huge part of it, still tied to the apron strings, attached to the umbilical cord, and willing to play along with this weird delusion that they're having that this child is a boy and not accept reality. Sister-in-law called to apologize, then informed me she arranged for a baby shower for me. I was so excited and happy, but when I arrived, I saw blue balloons, blue cake with father-in-law's name / decorations around. I was so confused I had to sit down. Sister-in-law explained they were still hoping the gender results were false and that it's a boy. I looked at my husband and he agreed with her. This is just beyond creepy and weird, and I think you need to get away from those people as soon as humanly possible. They are absolutely going to, I mean, especially, probably more especially, the father is going to treat this daughter like absolute crap. I lost my temper and yelled at them, calling them delusional and telling them to stop treating my daughter like she's unwanted and act like she doesn't exist by throwing a party for their imaginary grandson. Mother-in-law broke down crying. I took my bag and walked out immediately. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. This is just, I mean, there's a reason, like, oh my, I bought the 12 pack for a reason. This whole family sounds insufferable, and they are just going to continue to make your life and potentially this child's life miserable. I mean, I'm kind of wondering, we already had the rituals that obviously didn't work, so maybe they should be mad at themselves. But I am curious about how they've been treating OP up until this point, because I'm sure that wasn't good either. And this is something that's just going to escalate, so she needs to skedaddle. They started yelling, and my husband followed me outside and started arguing about how I insulted his family and his dad's memory by acting like that. I told him to wake up and see the insanity in his family's behavior. He said that they needed time to process the fact that it's a girl and not a boy that they expected, and insisted I play along and that they'll soon get over it. That doesn't seem very likely, since they, threw a party and had the dead father-in-law's name all over everything. That doesn't sound like getting over it to me. And it doesn't sound like the getting over it is even in the process starting to happen. And it's just completely unreasonable to ask OP to play along. Is he really asking her to pretend that she's having a boy when she's clearly not? This is crazy. And oh my God. They'll soon get over it. Okay. Is the getting over it in the room with us right now? I said absolutely not and demanded he take me home. He said no, so I called an Uber and left. He was fuming. He called 15 times and texted that he won't be coming home until I get my ass over and apologize for ruining everything they've done for me, and accusing them of being mentally unstable. Let's get the rest of these out here. I mean, what else does that demonstrate? That doesn't demonstrate any semblance of stability, checked into reality, anything. That is crazy. And he's co-signing all of this? You need to leave, like yesterday. I haven't responded yet. He's constantly pressuring me to get right with his family before we even talk about anything else. Well, I'd be like, you can get right with these nuts. I mean, imagine if they eventually accept the daughter and then they have a second child. Like, I wouldn't even want to have another child with this person and be involved with this family. Like, you just need to cut and run. Hopefully, you've got any, voicemails or any of, his text messages with how unhinged he's sounding just along with the rest of his family. Save that for the fucking lawyer. And I think this is a, pretty cut and dry, not the a-hole for OP, and OP needs to get the hell out of there. And that whole ass family needs some serious, serious help. But let's see what the comments have to say. So you already know how your daughter is going to be treated in this family. Time to take a nice hard look at your life between now and when you die, and what your daughter's life will be like, and make some hard decisions. Yeah, I mean, we all pretty much know what my decision is. First reply, sounds like husband already half solved the problem by not coming home. He can stay at mommy's house until he comes to his senses, or otherwise forever. If he's ready to start standing up for his own family and not his parents, maybe there's hope. I mean, if he doesn't come back, it's always nice when the trash takes itself out. Not the a-hole, you need to actually divorce this man. And when your daughter comes, maybe you will be able to get him to sign away his parental rights. This is totally sick, and you are totally spot on. The way your husband is feeding into this madness raises all sorts of red flags in me. I can see this family ignoring your daughter when she gets here and making her feel like she's not enough because she is not a boy. I have seen that happen, and it's sick. Congratulations on your baby girl, and I hope this works out in the way that is happy and healthy for the both of you. Not just ignoring your daughter, but I can see your husband and his family ignoring your daughter's needs and start bullying her. Oh, if she was a boy, she would have walked a lot sooner. If she was a boy, she wouldn't be so colicky. And if she was a boy, she would have been perfect, but she's a rotten good for nothing girl. Is this the life that you want for your daughter? They're not going to change. If your husband won't go to therapy with you now, it means he's okay with all of this, and you need to leave this dysfunctional family. I mean, I think the husband's already thoroughly demonstrated that he is completely okay with this, and how anyone could be is beyond me. But there's a lot of stories that, and a lot of fake stories do come up on these things, and it's one of those ones that, like, I hope it is, but it's probably not, unfortunately. Well, that is all I have for you today. If you have any thoughts, opinions, what have you on this story, feel free to leave those in the comment section below. If there's any other subreddits you'd like me to cover, let me know about that as well. And if you liked what you see today, just gently stroke that like and subscribe button and stimulate that algorithm. And until it's time to come slay with me, go slay with yourselves. Bye!